Hello everyone, Mr. Fraser here. This is just a wee introduction slash refresher on Carol Ann Duffy. Many of you will be familiar with Duffy and you'll have studied her last year. Some of you won't have done. So regardless of what position you're in, this is intended to be a good starting point for delving into her work. So Carol Ann Duffy is a Scottish poet who was born in 1955. She's written a vast amount of poetry over several years, and you'll be studying just a small number of her poems. In 2009, Carol Ann Duffy became the Poet Laureate of the United Kingdom. Now, that's quite a ceremonial role, but it comes with quite a lot of prestige as well. It basically means that she's appointed by the Queen to write poems to mark significant occasions in British history. So for example, she wrote a poem to mark the Queen's Diamond Jubilee in 2012 and another to mark the Commonwealth Games, which were held in Glasgow in 2014. Now Duffy getting that role is historically significant because she was the first woman, the first Scottish person and the first openly gay person to be the Poet Laureate. Now as I said before, Duffy wrote a huge amount of poetry and she's still writing poetry to this day. Over the next year, you're going to study 6 Duffy poems, some of which you'll definitely be familiar with if you've looked at Duffy before. Those poems are Valentine, Mrs. Midas, The Way My Mother Speaks, Originally, War Photographer, and In Mrs. Tilsher's Class. Now, whether or not you are confident with Duffy, or whether you've even studied her before, it's important at this stage to understand what the general themes are of her work. Now, some of Duffy's poems that you're going to read this year are autobiographical, meaning that they're based on her actual life, and some of them are totally fictional. But they all have a lot of themes in common. Duffy loves to write about changes, whether that be the changes that you go through when you grow up, or changes in lifestyle. And she's also really interested in relationships, whether that be the relationships between friends, pupils and teachers, or the relationships between two lovers. Sometimes these are good relationships, sometimes these are bad relationships, leading to conflict and feelings of isolation. You'll see all of this throughout these poems, and whether you're confident or not with Duffy, hopefully your understanding of this will develop over the year to come.